Hey, don't go anywhere in case you miss it. I'll show you guys the video again at the end of the stream. Give me this toy. Give me this, goddamn, give me the toy. Give me the toy now. Paige, take the toy away from him. You with your strength. Ow. Hey, Zangief.
Help me.
I have an idea. Ow. Zangief, hey, come here. Hey. Zangief, sit. Do you want your treat? Do you want your treat? Ew, whoa, what if I gave it to you? What if you had a treat instead of your toy? What if?
Do you want me to put it away? Do you want me to put it away?
Oh, he hit the fucking... He hit that at some point. Huh.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Nailed it. Hey guys, so I'm gonna play that again at the end of the night, and then later you'll be able to go up onto the YouTube channel and check that out in the 4K 60. Elden Ring is big Dark Souls. If you would like Dark Souls to be larger, then this is the game for you. I will take question. PS5 only? No, it's on everything. It's going to come out PS4, PS5, PS4 Pro, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and the PC on the Steam.
Hey, before you continue, can I say something real quick? Can we just give it up for how great you were?
The most fun part was not letting Paige look at it.
Yeah, I was pissed. But like, you sound incredible. Like, really well done. Like, that was fun.
I'm sweaty. Excuse me. Do you want my sweat?
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
So, somebody asked a very important question, which is, am I still under embargo? Yes! There's actually a much longer video that I have made that I will be showing you guys later. When could it be? I don't know, but it will be later, and it will be very long. It will be like, I basically don't have to do a stream long. If that means anything to y'all. Give now? Sorry, can't. That's not how it works. So, is it your penis long? Well, I mean, you guys got to go to work eventually. Hey. Anyway, Pat, do I have the actual game? No. And fun fact, at midnight on Sunday, it turned off. I wasn't able to play it anymore. So we finished House of Ashes the other night, and I was like, maybe I could still get... And it was like, no. No, you may not. Is Paige forced to go upstairs to your room every time you open up that footage on your computer? You mean the long one? Yes. But luckily, she's blind. And also, fun fact, when I was editing these videos in 4K on my video editor, the preview box didn't work because you need a lot of RAM to do that shit. So in order to edit it properly, I would have to like pre-render little 10-second snippets to cut it, which meant that took like all of Saturday. That was a rough one. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you guys right now, I know I have donation-based questions and such. I'm going to answer those that have a question about the Elden Ring first, so that, you know, people just watching the VOD or who've come from elsewhere have a... What's that?
Gene.
Oh, hey, Gene. So that, you know, people can like enjoy that. And then all the miscellaneous ones, I will answer later after I show y'all the video the second time. That'll be at the, you know, in like an hour or two. I'll play the video again so you guys. And I'm also gonna pick questions out of chat. Rojaw asks, can you possibly co-op the whole game? I'm gonna say, so I did not have a lot of experience with the multiplayer, in that I had zero experience with the multiplayer, but I did have experience with the game's menus. And in the game's menus, like there's so much that even in this video and the bigger video later, there's still a lot I couldn't talk about. Gene in the chat says that they played PvP and it was good. That's good enough for me. If you want more data on PvP, go check out Peverson's channel. That's all that freak does. I remember hanging out in a Discord with him and we were talking about Dark Souls and he's like, who cares about all this boss shit? I just want to go to the fucking arena. That dude's a fiend. That dude has a laser focus. But to answer your question about it, so you have the password system to hang out with your friends, right? And the item that you use to turn on multiplayer is craftable. So, like, you know how you would have humanity or fucking, whatever. You'd have humanity or, like, human effigies and shit like that to turn on multiplayer. Here, it is a cheap, craftable item. So, you can do that. When you load into multiplayer, it, like, cuts a portion of the earth off and says this is the area you guys can hang out in. But within that area, you guys can go just do whatever. In addition, there is a feature hidden deep in the multiplayer. This is why the pre-recorded Pat doesn't talk like this. In the options menu under the network thing, there is an option to not send your summon sign out for multiplayer. So when you turn that on, you still get your ghosts, you still get your bloodstains, but people won't invade you, and you won't be summoned for co-op. So you no longer have to turn off all the multiplayer online features to just go, I don't want to deal with other people. I don't want to deal with these people. I figure there's a lot of people that are going to appreciate that. I, as a person who is going to be streaming, am definitely going to appreciate that. Can you summon your friend after killing the boss of the area? Every question about multiplayer, I'm going to direct to anyone else because I don't know. I literally did zero multiplayers. I did zero multiplayers. I have no answers for you. I have nothing. Are messages still a thing, or are they the same as before, or there's more complexity? Messages are still a thing, and messages are a core item on your menu when you hit start. Hey, Woolly Raid! Hey, Woolly Raiders. Hey, guys. And the message system is exactly how you would expect for it to work. I put down a message at the very beginning that said, time for Elden Ring. And as I was out and about in the open world, I got a full health because somebody liked my message, and I appreciated that. Me Doo asks, is crafting a thing, and if so, is it complicated? Crafting is a thing, and I don't show it in any of the footage that I'm going to give to you guys. Crafting is a direct replacement for generic shops. So the kinds of items that you can craft in the network test are firebomb equivalents, roped firebomb equivalents, resins for your weapons, health items for your horse, etc. And you get those from picking berries and killing sheeps. So there's a lot of wildlife that just happens to be around. And if you kill them, you get like thin animal bones or hooves or whatever the fuck. And like you're able to build resins out of your own thing. And you get little crafting tool pages that give you more items that you can craft. Griffball asks, did you have 3 different flasks in that footage? Paige, could you calm him down or something?
I was taking a picture of him. He was being cute.
He is being cute. Let's see. I had 3 different flasks. So one is, I'm going to get all these names wrong. One's health flask. It's an Estus. One's magic flask. It's a Ashen Estus. The third one is called, I want to say it's called a Physic. And you only get one. And it's very weird because it is a flask that is made out of whatever buffs that you pick. So in the network test, I think there were 4 different buffs you could get. One was it heals half your health. One was it heals your mind 20% as well as gives you a health. One is it increases your maximum stamina. And the last one was that it explodes in your face when you drink it and it hurts you. And it only does the things that you equip on it. So I had the one where it healed 50% of my health and increases my maximum stamina, because what I would do is that would be the first health item that I would use, and then I would have extra stamina. Any idea if the exploding one is useful? I don't. Oh, does it hurt just you? Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. How much of Sekiro's combat is in this? That's tough to say. The number one thing that they took from Sekiro is that it has a jump button. And the jump button works the same as it does in Sekiro. That being said, it took me about 2 hours to stop jumping every time I wanted to pick something up. X is jump. Triangle is use items. Now, to those of you who've played a Souls game in the past, you might remember that triangle is switch your weapons between your left hand or your right hand. So I double hand it, right? Now, the way that works is triangle, apropos of nothing, shows your HUD. The second thing that it does is that if you... I'm going to grab a controller for this talk. If you hold down the triangle button and then you hit the button associated with the weapon that you want to two-hand. So if I wanted to two-hand my sword, I would hit hold triangle and hit R1. On the minus, that's a little awkward. On the plus, some people will be unlikely to constantly one or two hand their weapon that they want to one or two hand in the other way.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to some people.
I'm some people.
Yes, that's true. On top of that, let's see, control-wise. Oh, I'm talking more about Sekiro combat. You have your jump attacks, and jumping attacks, like I said, have replaced jumping attacks. They function exactly the same. Somebody asked, what is forward and R2 now? The answer is nothing. Forward R2 does nothing. Forward R1 does nothing. If you want to do the equivalent of those moves, jump. Can you pet the horse? No. Going back to Sekiro, the number one thing that they took from Sekiro's combat is the obsession with posture. So, you have a bunch of new guard mechanics. So, I found out the real name of it after recording that video. It's called Guard Counter. And Guard Counter is you hit R2 after a block, so during the animation of your blocking, and it will do, with the Bastard Sword, it does a big overhead, with the Spear, it does a huge spear attack, and with the Long Sword, it does like that spin attack. And what that does is a bunch of damage. It also does a ton of posture damage. You can see when you look back, when we play the video later, you're going to notice that every time I hit a regular enemy with that, they crumple to their knees. They're repostable from the front after that. And when I do that twice to the boss Margit, and hit him 3 or 4 times, he also crumples to his knees for a riposte. So it's a posture move. Not from my own experience, but I was looking at other people's videos earlier today. Parrying bosses no longer puts them into a ripostable state. It now just decreases their total posture. So there's a video out there of somebody parrying Margit, and it only takes... they parry them 3 times, and then Margit falls to his knees and ends up being ripostable. Guard attack is not invincible, so you can get hit out of it if you do it too early, right? Yes, and that's in the video. There's a couple times where I try and use the guard counter too early, and I get fucked for it. Can you change the horse's appearance? Not currently in the network test. By the way, the horse's name is Torrent, and he appears to be a goat thing also. Did dungeon exploration remind you of Chalice dungeons? Yes. I was talking to Susie about this yesterday, and we were both of the agreement that all of the resources that they put into Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne were directly put into these mini dungeons in Elden Ring. I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I found 5 in the... No, 6. I found 6 in the network test area. Paige, could you take them out, please? Thank you. Are they randomized? No. They are not randomized. The Stone Catacombs always has the same layout. It always has the same enemies. It always has the same reward. It's just they are not the... They're not the, like, lavish... bespoke areas that you would expect. They're a little more toned down. Do they have unique bosses? Yes. They all have unique bosses. Hating Since 87 asks, how do you upgrade weapons now? There's 2 ways to upgrade weapons. In the network test, there's 1, but it tells you that there will be 2. The old-fashioned way is you find a blacksmith who you pay upgrade shards, and they'll upgrade your weapon. In the network test, however, you do not find that blacksmith. Instead, you find a single anvil, and the anvil will allow you to upgrade your weapons to +3 by yourself. What George R.R. Martin elements did you notice? When they sent over the embargo, his name was in the promotional material. I think that's clear. Are the Ash summons reusable? Right. So, you see me use it, the noble pack or whatever the fuck they're called. The white phantoms. Are they reusable? Absolutely. Are they reusable after they die? No, until you sit down at a grace, which is this game's name for a bonfire. And you cannot use them everywhere. You cannot use them within a dungeon area, and you cannot use them in, like, basically anything that would be considered a level. You can use them in boss fights, and you can use them in the open world. But if they die, you can't use them anymore until you sit down at a grace. How does stealth feel? I mean, enemies don't have any states. Enemies either fucking see you or they don't. And when you stab them in the back from stealth, it's loud as shit. I did not fuck with the sleep arrow stuff. That seems to be the genuine actual use case for stealth. How was the character creator? Doesn't exist in the current build of the game. It's not there. It's nothing to tell you. How does fall damage work? Okay. Dexterity. Let's go for a broader discussion as to what your stats are. Luckily, I remember them all off the top of my head because the stats are different. Vigor is your health, the red bar that makes you die. Endurance increases your stamina, the green bar that governs your actions. Mind affects your mana / focus points, etc. It's your blue bar. Then you have strength. It affects your strength damage weapons with strength scaling. And it also says that it increases your equip load. So if you want to be strong and wear big armor and have lots of weapons, you will be leveling strength. Dexterity increases cast speed, fall damage reduction, and the likelihood of getting knocked off your horse when being hit will be decreased. On top of that, fall damage is greatly minimized. You have to fall really far to take real damage, and any drop that would kill you is obviously going to kill you. Right? Like it's like if you take a normal hop off a ledge, there's no worry. If you take a bigger one, yeah, you'll take a little bit of a hit. If you jump off a cliff, you're going to die. Also, you may be thinking, but Torrent, the horse goat, has a double jump. And one of the very first things that I tried is I leapt off the tallest cliff and then double jumped 3 feet before I hit the ground. And then slowly drifted down, and the instant that horse's feet touched the ground, I exploded and died. The double jump does not negate fall damage. I thought I was going to be clever. They will not let you. Not going to happen. It stores the momentum. Is there an aspect of the world building or plot that makes it significantly different from Dark Souls? Lots of stuff is gold. It's gold. Are there rings or accessories? Yes. And in the network test, I found 2. One which increased my stamina regen, and the other that increased my equip load. Which is great, because that's the amount of ring slots I have in the network test. 2. How does horse combat feel? Horse combat against other mounted opponents or very, very large enemies feels great. Mounted combat against human-sized opponents in groups on the horse feels like shit. And I think it's intentional. The horse's acceleration is pretty fast, and it's kind of tough to get a bead on small targets when you're on the horse. What's the money called? It's called runes. Are there dogs that suck to fight? There are 3 different models of dog. There are wolves. 4. There are wolves. There is a bigger wolves. There is a sheepdog looking dog. And there is also a starved hairless dog. They all have the same moveset. Are there different magic types, like sorcery or miracles? Yes. There are sorcery and incantations. Sorcery is everything you would ever expect from sorcery in a Souls game. Nearly every single skill you have is going to be blue. Incantations is not miracles. The reason why is because miracles and pyromancy have no distinction whatsoever anymore. Miracles and pyromancy are the same, and they're both governed by faith. Also, back to the statistics. Intelligence affects your spells and your magic damage. Faith affects your incantations and elemental damage. And arcane appears to be luck. That's about as simple as it gets. What's the lore, Pat? You're tarnished and you gotta get the Elden Ring. I'll be honest, the network test doesn't even have an opening cutscene. it's just fucking play the fucking game. Do stats affect weapon arts? So, I briefly touched on it, but in the longer footage that I'll be showing to you guys in the future, I'll be showing it off a little more clearly. But they have a system called Ash of War, or Weapon Ashes, that you deal with your weapons. So let's take the long sword that you saw for much of that footage. So that long sword has the standard longsword moveset that you expect from nearly all Souls games. Left, right, slash as the stab, and then if you hit R2 again on the second stab, he does the vertical slice, right? The standard weapon art for that is you hold down the left trigger, and they go into the stance, just like Dark Souls 3, and if you hit R1, they do the swing, or I think it's they do the big swing, and if you hit R2, they do the big stab. It's literally the same as the Dark Souls 3 longsword. The difference is that is just a regular, I think it's a quality scaling weapon. However, let's say I wanted to change that. Well, when you beat the stone catacombs, you get the weapon Ash. I forget what the name of it, but it is essentially homing Crystal Soul Arrow, but summon swords. So what you do is you look at that, and it goes, that is appropriate for glint sword, I think it is, maybe. But it says it's appropriate for all thrusting weapons. Well, most of the swords in the game also qualify as thrusting weapons. So what you do is you go to Ash of War, and you change the weapon art from stance to glint sword arch. Then, after you pick that, it asks you, do you want standard scaling or magic scaling? And you just pick. You just pick which one. And that's the scaling that you have. Okay? That's not a usable item. That's not a consumable. You can swap it to anything. So, I was able to find a spear, and it had like the regular charge move, and I could have a repeating thrust, or I could have a move that caused it to suck in, or I was able to make my swords lightning enchanted, or magic enchanted, or strength enchanted, or normal enchanted, etc. And you can just swap them freely. There's no reason that you can't just fuck around and go and pick anything. So, for example, Agheel, which is the dragon that you see in the footage, is only weak to lightning. And there's only two items in the entire network test that do lightning damage. And one of them is a weapon art. So what you do is you go and get the weapon art and pick whatever weapon you like and switch it to the lightning move, and then switch it to the lightning scaling, and then you'll be doing lightning damage. In addition, let's take the lightning one for an example, right? You would think that putting the lightning move on your sword would mean it has to do lightning damage. It doesn't. You can freely choose between I want the weapon art and the scaling and element damage, or just the weapon art and normal damage. Can you swap these on the fly? No, you have to be sitting at a grace. So people ask, is Ashen Flasks better this time? Yes, because it gives a situation where even a character running a strength build can have a strength weapon that just happens to have a lightning art. Somebody asked me how attunement works nowadays, because there's no attunement stat. In fact, mind does not affect attunement at all. It just affects the size of your FP bar. It appears that you start with 3 attunement slots, and the way that it'll work is attunement slots will be rewards from beating bosses or finding secret areas. Does clothing offer meaningful protection? It seemed to. I didn't run any I didn't run any stats on it. Did I like the game? Yes. I did like the game. It seems good. Yeah, leveling attunement always felt terrible because it was this thing where like I can increase my damage or my health or my stamina, but no, I have to increase my slots so that I can actually literally use the stuff that I have. When does it plan to come out? It is currently planned to come out on February 25th. Currently, the network test is a little rough. The performance is not there. There's a couple minor bugs. The LOD needs work. Can you block with your weapons? Yeah, same as always. They just don't block 100%. They'll block 70, 60, 80%, whatever. Pat, did you shoot a meteor? Yes, Bearheart. I know your question is an intentionally stupid question, but yes, there is a hidden sorcery vendor in the network test that will sell you a meteor spell in which you summon 3 meteors to attack the enemy. Is there an equivalent to being hollowed or unkindled? It doesn't appear to be. It appears to be you are what you are what you are. Does the tight level design hold up in a big open world? I say it in the video, and I believe I've seen other people say it. There's a PC Gamer article that describes the open world doesn't really jive with them in that it just seems to be a lot of wasted space or empty space. I legitimately don't know what the fuck they are talking about because you cannot go 50 yards without some kind of unique something. It genuinely reminds me of a much denser Dragon's Dogma. I specifically mentioned Dragon's Dogma because everything out there is out to get you. I found 2 non-aggressive NPCs in the entire network test area. Everything else wanted to get me. Sorry, 3. I found 3. Do I prefer cashews or pistachios? Definitely cashews. Sai69 asks, is leveling up the same as Dark Souls? Yes and no. You get runes, aka souls, and you talk to your level up lady, and she takes those runes, aka souls, and levels up your statistics at a sharply increasing exponential rate. The difference is, for the first time since Dark Souls 1, you will be able to level up yourself at Lost Graces because your level up lady will just teleport to you when you decide you want to level up. Can you upgrade your armor? No. Will I put this Q&A up later? Yes, of course. I'll be putting this Q&A up as like its own VOD, basically. I'm gonna cut this part out, right? There's no need to include the video because the video is already gonna be on the YouTube channel, so I'll just cut the Q&A part out. Is there a good, mid, and fat jump-based weight like there is with rolls? I don't think so. That being said, when you're equipping your arms and armor in the menu, to the right of the screen, underneath your equip load, it will literally say heavy, medium, or light before you even exit the menu. Can the horse wear armor? I don't know. Where does the level up lady fall on the tier list of level up ladies? She's right there with Bonfire Chan because she's convenient and she comes to hang out with you. Does there seem to be a central hub of any kind? They have said that there is a central hub, but they've also said that it takes a while to get there in the full game. It is not in the network test. I can't say anything about it. I don't know. Can you store things on the horse? Don't need to. You have an infinite inventory. Did you catch the percentages for weights? Is it like DS3 with 70% being fat? It appears to be the same as Dark Souls 3's. Is archery good? I did not fire a bow and arrow at any point. Can you pause the game? No. You can, however, quit and save out very quickly, like always. Somebody asked how poise is in this game. I don't know. It appears to work the same as Dark Souls 1, but you will have to go to Iron Pineapple or Yumfaz or one of those smarter guys than me that does the maths. Come here. Do weapons and armors degrade? No. Is there item weight? No. What is the parry most like? The parry is like Dark Souls 3 parry. Shields have various levels of startup, and they have active frames that causes the parry. Are there passive weapon arts, like equip the shield with stamina recovery? Not that I could find. The only weapon art I could find for the shield is the one that you see, in which I put down like a healing area underneath me. Also, here's the fun fact. When I upgraded my shield with the weapon art that gives me the heal, it also let me choose between strength and holy scaling for the shield, and then choose the weapon art. You smell. This dog smells. Does the Ashes of War choosing your scaling affect the scaling for the entire weapon or just specifically for the weapon art? They affect the entire weapon. The scaling for the weapon art is always going to be in like what it is. Like the lightning move will always be a lightning move. The magic greatsword move will always be a magic move, etc. What's the biggest strength weapon you found? I found a big two-handed sword that its weapon art. It had the Bastard Sword moveset, and the the weapon art was that you hold out your left hand and the sword starts spinning faster and faster and faster until you slam it on the ground and does an AoE. Sit. Sorry, lie down. Speak. Can you use those items on multiple weapons? Yes. Wait. No, they're equipable. In fact, when you equip a weapon art on a regular weapon, it pulls off the normal one, and you can put that on something else. Does upgrading the weapon upgrade the scaling from the ashes? Yes. Does gathering ingredients for crafting feel natural or like a chore? Oh, absolutely. I mean, you guys play Souls games. You're just mashing that fucking pick up item button anytime you're anywhere near a goddamn item. Were there any designated PvP areas? No. Not that I could find. Would you say that if you could climb on enemies, this would be Dragon Dogma 2? Yeah, probably. Did I find a gun? No. Is there bonfire music? No. What there is regular music. When you're walking around, there is ambient music in general. It's kind of weird. Like I didn't expect it. Did you find a katana? Yes. In fact, you can see a katana in the footage. It's the lightning weapon that I use to fight the dragon with, though it's kind of short. What was your least favorite weapon? I don't know, probably like honestly, I don't remember. I call it a saber. Same thing. Katanas are just sabers from the east. Does armor affect health? No. Are resins back in some form? Yes, and you can craft them quite easily. Did I fight Pumpkinhead? Yes. Pumpkinhead rules. How many weapon types did I find? I want to say about 10. Various couple swords, an axe, a club, a lance, a spear, etc. Did I find patches or the pot man? No, they did not appear to be in the network test. Do enemies change during the day and night cycles? Yes. The bats that you see me fighting on horseback are limited to their own areas during the day. However, they come out and roam the open world at night. All the friendly wildlife tends to disappear during the nighttime. Does the game have a map? Yes, it does have a map. It is a nice hand-drawn map. And you can put markers and shit on it. Though you do have to unlock pieces of the map. Like you have to find like an obelisk and it has like a little map piece that you pick up and it goes, and then it fills in. How accurate is the map? Artistically accurate. Like it's not a one-to-one perfect recreation, but it's exactly what you would expect. How long does a full day-night cycle take? I don't know. It can't be more than an hour. Do summons scale with anything? No. The way that it appears to work is summons have a straight-up power associated with them, and that's how much focus points they cost. So I found a summon that was like a wandering scimitar guy, and it cost 100 FP, whereas the generic wolves cost like 20. Do summons spike the boss difficulty? No. And in fact, some of the harder bosses ice your summons like they're nothing, and some of the easier bosses get their shit fucking fucked by the summons. There's a miniature boss, a mini boss that I fought, and I used the 5 noble ashes against him, and we just stun locked him into the dirt. Did I encounter Pumperum or Pickle P like characters? No. Are there any climbing mechanics? No. There are an aggressive lack of climbing mechanics. There is no mantling. In fact, somewhere in the middle of that video, you can see me trying to jump over a 3-foot ledge and failing super hard. Can you swim? No. Did I see any other attacks that I would have to jump over to avoid? No. Is magic viable or usable? Does the magic bar recover on its own, or does the Estus restore fair and quick to get? Magic seems very viable. In fact, there is a situation. So I was talking to, I was bitching to somebody about how much I fucking hated weapon arts in Dark Souls 3 because they cost too much. And it always ended up in this situation where, why would I level this up and use these? They don't seem that good. The weapon arts seem good. The weapon arts that are just you attacking with the weapon are cheap. The weapon arts that are actually useful spells that anybody can use are good. There's a reason to level up your mana bar, and there's another reason to level up your to actually have some of your flasks be the magic ones. For example, there's a lightning move that one of the sword weapons has that does like 100 damage to ag heal, and it's 100% accurate, and it's fast casting. And even with a character that was pure sword and board and didn't put any points into magic, I fucking took some goddamn magic flasks out with me because I could get 50% of his health off just by spamming that move. Any mimics? None currently in the network test, but you're insane if you don't think they're going to be in the full game. Is rolling still superior than blocking? Depends. Rolling is cheaper now. I don't know if you guys can tell from the footage, but rolling is actually pretty cheap stamina-wise. However, so is blocking. The difference between rolling and blocking seems to be timing for a positional advantage or holding the line if you can to get a guard counter, which are excellent. Is this going to be like a 100 bosses kind of game? Okay, so the network test, you can look at my map when I pull it up in the video. You can compare it to the map in the footage that they released a couple days ago, the 19 minutes of Elden Ring footage direct from Namco Bandai. So the thing that you notice is that the maps aren't the same. The network test map doesn't have an entire island to the south of the network test area. It's not there. So the maps are different. However, of the parts of the map that are the same, the bottom piece of the real map is not in the network test. And the entire eastern part, there's this ridge that you can see past a middle road, is not available. I would put the network test playable area at approximately 1/3 of the total region. And there are 6 regions on that map, not accounting possibly underground or sky areas or, whatever the fuck they do. So at least the network test area is 1/3 of 1/6, possibly 1/7 of total area, which represents about 4 to 5.5%. And in that area, I fought Margit as a real boss. And I fought demi-humans, the burial monster, the I forget the guy's name, one of the weird soldier, Pumpkinhead. Yeah, so let's just say 6-7 bosses. There's also, I found watching other people's footage, at least one boss I completely missed. Oh, and the dragon, of course. Did I see any areas that look like the PvP zone? Although PvP is everywhere, not in this current state. With magic again, is there a limit to how many arts you can hold, or does it increase with more magic? The way that I explained it earlier, you start with 3 slots, at least now. And in interviews, I've read that you'll be able to unlock attunement slots as like a reward item from dungeons or bosses. It's no longer statistical. Do you think they will change damage and stamina values? I think they will change damage, stamina, boss speed, boss health, weapon damage. All statistical values are subject to change. Games at the end go through a balance and optimization pass. This is very clearly before that. Some spells suck shit. There's one incantation that the prophet starts with, which is broken strong. There's no way these numbers are going to stay the way they are. Did it seem likely that the February release date is real? Yes. I do believe they will be able to hit their February release date. However, if they do miss it, I can see them pushing it to April. Or maybe March 31st, right? Would I recommend Elden Ring or Sekiro for a first-time Souls game? I've never played a Souls game, but these have my interest. The game's not out, so it might be horrible and fucked up. They could botch it. But it's definitely not the hardest one. There are a lot more ways to deal with enemies than there were in, say, DS3. I think some of the parts... How would I know? I'm comparing the beginnings of each game. I still think the Bloodborne's the hardest one. I think most people would agree that Bloodborne is the hardest one. Nah, it's Sekiro. It's not Sekiro. I'll tell you that. No way. Were there any invasion mechanics? Yeah, you can get invaded. That's I got invaded by an NPC. I did not get invaded by human players. How did I find Bloodborne harder than Sekiro? I keep forgetting Sekiro exists. Whenever I say Bloodborne, I'm removing Sekiro out of the equation because I forget that it exists. Are fire spells just magic or a miracle? They are miracles now. All pyromancy is miracles now. Any really weird weapons? Not in the network test, though I'm sure there are. How quickly does FP regenerate without the use of flasks? At approximately infinity negative %. They don't. However, beating up enemy groups in the open world allows you to regain flasks. So there's a part of the footage where I beat up like 6 goobers just hanging out. And when I beat up the final goober, it gives me a flask of whatever of the health or magic ones I'm the lowest on. How frequent were those groups? Pretty common in the open world. However, that mechanic seems to not be the case for the discrete bespoke levels. However, they're not very long. And then the one that was Stormveil Keep is like a regular ass normal big Souls level, so it assumes that you're going to ration yourself the way you normally would. Did weapons have lore? Probably. I didn't check. I figured that like Vati and those guys would handle that stuff. Go to the corner. Oh. Listen, guys, I played that network test for maybe 18 hours. And I recorded and did the 4K, and I thought I got everything. And then I thought I had gotten everything. And I had a situation where I was talking to Gene, and Gene says, "Oh, did you get to the end of the castle?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got to the end of the castle." And he's like, "Damn it," because he couldn't beat Margit. I was talking so much shit with Gene on Saturday because he couldn't beat Margit. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff past Margit, dude. There's tons. Oh man, it's so embarrassing that you can't get past that. Oh man." And so I get into the castle and I do all the stuff there. And I was talking to Susie. And I'm like, "Yo, Susie, did you see the giant lion that has the Naruto ninja arm blade?" And she's like, yeah, that thing was cool. And then she says, "Did you find the Bushman?" And I'm like, no. And she tells me that there's a random tree out in the middle of a fucking field that's a guy using the decoy spell. It's at the beginning of her video. If you want to go check out Sphere Hunter's video. And now I'm like, wow, okay, wow, I guess I missed a couple. And then somebody sent me Vati's footage, and Vati found a boss that I completely missed. I played that section over and over all weekend. Yeah, the Hound Knight. I totally missed him. Found any invisible walls? No. In fact, I found highly visible developer walls. On the right side of the map, there is a aggressive fog wall that appears when you get close to it, and it's jagged because it's made out of like blocks. So it's like a staircase. It's really jank. And they don't want you to go there. Oh, speaking of, Somebody asked me about climbing mechanics, and I said that there were none. That wasn't exactly true. There is one climbing mechanic. The climbing mechanic is you can use Torrent the horsey to Skyrim up to locations. No, I'm not talking about bounce pads. I'm not talking about ladders. I'm talking about the fact that Torrent has a wide hitbox on his feet, and you can get him to like fucking just like you know like in a game where you can get like you can be standing and it's like your toe is just on the edge. Combine that with a double jump, like I was able to climb up like kind of vertical walls in a couple spots. And just fucking Skyrim up to the fucking top of shit. He's a goat. Yeah, I like Torrent. Does the horse itself have any upgrades or customization options? No. By the way the horse works, Torrent, the horse, goat, whatever. So he has his own health bar. And you have a set amount of damage that you can take before falling off. He doesn't necessarily have to die for you to fall off. However, if he dies, he's gone. Until you sit at a grace, or you have to use one of your health flasks to bring him back to life. So if there is a boss fight that absolutely demands that you be on that goat and you get him killed, you must use one of your existing health items to bring him back up to use him. Can you Yoshi him up to higher levels? No. Did any areas remind you of older areas? Yes. The area that I started with in the video that I showed earlier is a straight up homage to Stonefang Tunnel 2-1. It's all miners. They all drop upgrade materials. Your weapons bounce off of them. They're weak to magic damage, etc. And the hidden path in Stormvale Castle on the left is a remake / homage to the inside the wall sections of 1-1 in Demon Souls. Right? You know, you're climbing and there's lots of exploding barrels and there's dregs throwing stuff at you from different elevations. How much are you going to bet that the Moonlight Greatsword exists somewhere in Elden Ring? I would bet like $1,000 on it. I could not possibly imagine that Patches and the Moonlight Greatsword are not there. Did I get hit by a rolling ball? No. Was there any healing outside of Miracles and Flasks, like Life Gems in DS2? Aside from Miracles and Flasks? No. There were not. Were there any crystal lizards? Oh, yes! There are at least 3 different types of crystal lizards. They're dung beetles. They're dung beetles that are rolling big piles of poo, and the poo glows a certain color. And when you kick the poo, the color will let you know if it's a magic spell or a weapon art or an item or what have you. Are there hidden walls? You see a hidden wall in the footage they released, so yes, but not in the network test area that I was available to figure out. Is summoning Torrent a usable item or a dedicated button? It is a usable item. So the way that it works, one of the things that I didn't talk about when you hold triangle, I said it brings your HUD up. But when you hold it, it also brings up 4 items that you have associated with your D-pad that you pick. So you remember in Dark Souls 3, you'd have like the quick select on like the back, right? And that you'd put like humanity there or whatever. So now you hold down triangle, and the up one is the return to grace item that's always there. And like I had Torrent put on my down D-pad, so whenever I wanted to summon Torrent, I would just hold triangle and hit down on the D-pad, and he'd summon Torrent immediately. Does armor protect you now? Yes. You had poutine for dinner today. Good for you. How was the Twin Blade? Really fun. It had a really cool, fast, useful moveset when you two-hand it. Is poise back? I think so, but I'm not certain. I wouldn't be able to answer that. What's leveling like? It's like a Souls game. What do you expect? Did I have fun? I had a blast. Now, granted, let's be very clear. Part of my ecstatic joy playing it over the weekend was that none of you could play it. And also, Paige was not allowed to even talk to me about it. It fucking owned. It fucking owned so hard.
So much.
Answer your emails!
I was busy that day. You know I was busy. It was important. I didn't know there would be such a fast deadline. Come on. So embarrassing.
But you were mad about the Doom closed off trailer for that reason. Yes, but the difference is me. But me, though. But me. What's the bear seek lest? Good question. When you first meet Melina and sit down and talk to her, she is giving a speech to you about... Oh, hello.
Yeah, I can't.
Zangief, hey, come here. Come here.
Oh, he wants your attention.
Oh, he wants my attention specifically. Yeah. She gives you a little speech, but she gives you a speech while you're in the menu, like the Maiden in Black. Did any other items or skills have funky skills like Oh Flame? Sorceries had normal names. They had names that a lot of them were using the word glint, which appears to be like, blue magic. The flames, I remember Oh Flame. I think the way it's going to be is that flame spells are going to be like onomatopoeic statements, but I can't be sure. I can't remember. There was another one that I got that was named similar, but I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. Any recognizable voice actors? No. Are the hitboxes still funky? No, the hitboxes seem great. The only funky hitbox I found was when the dragon is sneaking his head around my shield. Did I use the Frenzy Flame spell? Yes. I forgot to put it in my footage. I only found it after all my videos were done. There's a new type of spell called Frenzy Incantations. They're the same as a regular spell, but every time you cast them, you get Frenzy. And when your bar gets to the end, I think you get a hit with a status called Madness, and your head explodes. And the one that was in the network test was you would shoot red lightning out of your eyes. Also, somebody asked, like, Bloodletter. There is a... Oh, use your brain. There is a weapon art in the game that uses blood for damage that uses the Bloodletter weapon art animation. Does Madness insta-kill, or can you tank it? You can tank it. It hurts. But it doesn't. It's not a kill, but it hurts you and it knocks you down. How many animations did you recognize? Tons. tons. Backstab animations, riposte animations, weapon animations, enemy animations. The crab from Dark Souls 3 is just there. It's the same crab. It has the same moveset. Like, it's the same. I wouldn't be surprised if you ran into, like, Blartorius of the Blabliss, and it was a guy with a red cape and a wolf head that was doing flips and shit. Yeah, it feels like a greatest hits. It feels like they're just going to grab everybody and just jam them in there. Are there a good amount of new animations? Yes, absolutely. Find any giant pigs. I did not find any pigs, giant or otherwise. Are there any big DS2 references? The only one that I saw, and it wasn't even from my own footage, was that power stancing is back in the game. Didn't even notice. Didn't even think to try it. And you don't need double the stats to do it. You just need to be able to, like, have the things. Also, the HP stat is called Vigor. You're right. That's true. How many Berserks are on it? A bunch. I mean, what if, like, you know the Eric Andre bit? What if it, like, you just show a picture of Guts and Berserk, and you go, what if it was gold? Would this be a good game to play when you've played little bits of all the DS games? The fact that it's completely new is a plus, but I mean, the story is window dressing. Are you able to respec freely? I don't know, but I would think that it would be absolutely bananas to not have a real respec, because based on the time that I spent with the game and based on how large it to be looks, like, we're looking at a 1 to 200 hour game. If it didn't have respec, they'd be insane. Like, super insane. My footage also shows that the Dark Souls 2 Lance moveset is back. I bet every weapon of note ever will be in this game, plus a bunch of new ones. The easiest way to fill your open world with cool shit is to just steal your old shit. How far can you upgrade the weapons in the test? Only to +3. Only to +3. How is the game tonally? It's really nice. There's definitely a lot of people with doom and gloom, as you would expect. But the fact that there's a giant golden tree that totally overpowers every outdoor scene rules. Let's see. Daku asks, how is the camera and the lock-on? This might represent the first genuine improvement to the Souls lock-on camera system ever. You saw me fighting a bunch of giants, and you saw me fighting a dragon. The dragon has a a lock-on spot in both back legs, his middle of his torso, and his face. Zangief, I am talking to the people. I know you are excited about Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring. But if you will excuse me, please. Here, toss me that. Owned. It's mine now. What are you going to do about it? Zangief, come here. Sit down. I love you, but you're fat and ugly. Look at this ugly fat boy. Okay, you can get it now. Whoop. Thank you, darling. What the fuck was I just talking about? Oh, right. The dragon has 4 lock-on points. The giants have 3 lock-on points. everything that you would need more control over where you lock on has it. In addition, despite fighting the dragon for like a total of 3 or 4 hours and spending lots of time, I only had the lock-on break once in the entire time I played. And the time the lock-on broke was when the dragon was doing his dive bomb away from me, and I was riding my horse away towards the camera, and the lock-on broke. It never broke otherwise, which was impressive because there are parts in which bosses jump straight up into the air like always, and you would expect that to break the lock-on. It doesn't. It also turns and twists your bullshit when you get in a really close quarters. Do you think this game will be playable properly on PS4? Yes, there's a video out right now that shows that aside from a couple frame pacing issues like you would expect from a From Software game, it does hold a locked 30 with some exceptions like giant explosions on the base PS4. Is farming upgrades for mats a pain in the ass? I mean, that remains to be seen how and where you will actually get that stuff. Yes, darling? Can I take the boy out? Okay. It's 8:50 p.m. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to take the boy out. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is start up the video footage once again. And then when we come back, I will do donation and sub reading, and then we'll call it a night. And then I will tell you to very, very importantly show up on Friday at 5 o'clock for some reason. For some reason. What would the reason be? Let's make sure sound works. You guys got sound? Good. I took the compressor off so you guys can hear the sound good. All right. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go find that footage again and then take the boy outside because he is too strong. He cannot be beaten. Oh, pause it. There we go. All right. I'll see you guys in 29 minutes, 59 and a half seconds. And I hope that you enjoy this footage, particularly if you're showing up now and you didn't see it the first time. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.